Now, with our lives feeling totally out of control and our normal routines disrupted, it can be really easy to feel overwhelmed, stressed, angry, even resentful. For many of us, really important life celebrations like birthday parties, weddings, graduation ceremonies, and even funerals have been canceled and postponed because of the coronavirus pandemic. All of your plans that maybe you've been working on for months or even years and made significant financial investment into have just been ripped out from underneath you, and that can leave you feeling incredibly angry and bitter. For others, they may be angry because they're in a less than ideal situation at home, or they're struggling in ways that they've never really had to struggle before, like financially or with unemployment or within their relationships. And so all of this change at such a high speed and without the ability to control so much of what is going on around us can really leave us feeling angry and resentful. That is a completely natural response. Often our impulse is to shy away from these emotions that we consider negative, like anger. But anger has deep roots in helping us to survive and to respond to threats, and it can be a really healthy and productive part of the human experience if we use it the right way. For example, a woman who has her car stolen doesn't just sit back and calmly say, "Oh, well, I guess I'll have to buy a new one tomorrow." No, she's angry, and justifiably so. Anger can motivate us to do things like call the police, or talk to a coworker who's making poor choices, or redirect our children when they start to fight with one another, or distance ourselves from a relationship that is unhealthy or toxic for us. So anger can actually be a really good thing, but we often shy away from it because when it gets out of control, it can be really scary, and it can harm our relationships, our work experience, our home life. It can really impact every area of life if it's not managed appropriately. And so we often have this black or white thinking with anger, that anger isn't okay. And we teach our children that it's not okay to be angry, but it is okay to be angry. We just have to do it in a way that's healthy. In handling anger, we first need to figure out what it looks like for us, what sets it off, and then how to manage it. So anger does not look the same for everybody. When I say anger, you might have this image that pops into your head of a cartoon character with steam coming out of their ears and their faces bright red and they're stomping their feet and pounding their fists. And for some people, that is what anger looks like. And they have a very demonstrative and expressive way of showing the world that they're angry. And they might feel this intensity of anger that maybe others don't experience at that level. But there are also folks who have that same level of anger and intensity, but they don't express it like that. So you might not even know that they're necessarily angry, because instead of expressing it outwardly to everyone, for everyone to see, they hold it in, and it's maybe coming out in terms of withdrawal or irritability, somebody who's always grumpy or sulky or just agitated. And that can be anger. The bottom line is, no matter how anger manifests, no matter what it looks like, it needs to be recognized as anger and then addressed or managed appropriately. Because if anger is left to be out of control, then it can really have an impact on every single aspect of life, including physical health. In fact, lots of research shows that anger is related to physical health problems, like hypertension. So we really want to make sure that your anger can be managed in a way that is healthy, productive, and helpful. How can you manage your anger? Here's a few quick tips. First, improve communication. Sometimes anger is a result of somebody not feeling heard or feeling misunderstood, or a result of not being able to communicate oneself properly. So instead of unleashing your fury because you feel unheard or unseen, try clearly communicating what your needs are and how others can help you meet them. But don't forget, anger also makes us irrational and illogical. So try to have those important conversations at a time when you're calm, not in the midst of an angry outburst. Secondly, change the way you think. Anger often leads to this distortion of reality. So we dramatize things, or we overly exaggerate them, or we put too much emphasis on the negative. Try replacing those irrational thoughts with more logical ones. So, for instance, if you find yourself flipping out at the school bus in front of you because it's driving too slowly, think instead about if your child was on that school bus, would you want the driver to be cautious and slow in order to keep your child safe? Of course you would. Just that small change in reframing your thought can really put a different perspective on your anger and help to calm you down. Also, try not to use things like absolutes, like always or never. So instead of saying something like, my boss always criticizes everything that I do, you could instead say something to yourself like, geez, my boss really values perfection and is teaching me really important lessons that I'll be able to use later on. It's a small change, but it can really, really shift your entire perspective and make you feel a lot less angry. Third, try some relaxation techniques, things like progressive muscle relaxation, guided imagery, deep breathing, which is something we talked about in the last few videos, or even yoga can really calm down that physical response that happens during anger. So if you find yourself angry, you might want to try some sort of movement. I want to walk through a guided imagery with you. So find yourself a comfortable spot. You can lie on the floor, the couch, or bed, if that's what you prefer. If you're sitting up, make sure that you're sitting nice and upright with both of your feet on the floor, and find a comfortable posture. And let's start by just taking a few deep breaths and thinking about the breath as you're breathing. So really focusing your attention on the breath and what that physical sensation is like coming into and out of the body during the breath. So if you recall, we talked about using the breath as an anchor or a focal point. For any time that we get stressed or overwhelmed or angry, you can always just take a few deep breaths and focus on the breath itself and what the sensation is like. And when you do that, what you're doing is you're shifting your perspective and your focus. So instead of focusing on whatever it was that was making you angry or whatever thoughts that you were having that were disturbing you, you're getting those kind of out of your immediate attention and awareness and focusing on the breath, which is here, it is now, it is present, and it is something that you can change. So it's really redirecting where your attention is going to something that is maybe more calming and soothing and helpful. So go ahead and take a few more deep breaths. And as you do that, you might want to even tell yourself something like, I can relax here. This is a calm place for me. So we're going to go ahead and do a guided imagery of us being on the beach and use that as a way to calm down our anger or stress. So picture yourself right now sitting on a beach. Maybe it's a beach that you've been to before. Maybe it's a beach that you've seen in a magazine or on television, or just something that you make up entirely in your mind. But picture what that beach looks like. Imagine everything that you see. Is your beach in the middle of a rainforest? Or surrounded by cliffs? Or is your beach in the middle of the Mediterranean Ocean? Or on a deserted island? Picture all of the surroundings of the beach. What does the water look like? What is the hue of the ocean? What kind of waves are there? They're just slow, gentle, lapping waves, or are they rougher, the kind that you want to go surfing in? Imagine what the landscape of the beach looks like. Is it nice, soft, powdery sand? Or is it pebbly? Are there large rocks anywhere? Picture everything about the beach. Are you by yourself on the beach? or do you see others in the distance? Imagine what you're doing on this beach. I like to imagine that I'm sitting in a beach chair with my toes buried in the sand. But maybe you're lying on a beach towel, or maybe you're standing up, or maybe you're just sitting down and watching the waves. But picture yourself like from a bird's eye view of what you're doing and how you're doing it at the beach. Now visualize the smells. There's a lot of smells at the beach. The smell of the ocean, of the salt water. Maybe the smell of coconut, or smell of sunscreen. Imagine what it is that you're smelling on this beach. Maybe you want to say to yourself right now, I feel calm. I feel calm being here on this beach right now. Now imagine everything that you hear. What are the sounds that are coming into your ears on this beach? Do you hear the waves crashing gently against this shore? Do you hear seagulls in the background? Do you hear children laughing way off in the distance? What is it that you hear while you're sitting on this beach? Are there any tastes? Do you have any sense of taste in your mouth right now? Maybe you taste coconut or a strawberry daiquiri, whatever it is, or maybe no taste at all, but maybe there's something that you can imagine tasting while you're on this beach. And what is it that you feel? Do you feel the sand wiggling between your toes? Do you feel the warmth of the sunshine beating against your skin? Do you feel the salt kind of crusting on your skin, on your arms and your legs? Do you feel the chair underneath you that you're sitting on, or the towel that you're lying on the beach? Imagine all of the feeling sensations that you would have sitting on your beach. And maybe you want to say something to yourself like, this is a special place that I can come to whenever I wish. I can relax here. I feel calm. So take a few last deep breaths and really picture yourself being here in this calm, safe place on the beach. And whenever you're ready, you can start to wiggle your fingers or your toes. You can open your eyes and rejoin me here in this moment. I hope you enjoyed that guided imagery. Really, with practice, this is something that you can easily go to whenever it is that you start to feel overwhelmed. So remember that our minds are powerful tools that can help calm our bodies. So learning how to harness the power of your mind can change the way that you feel in terms of your emotional state as well as your physical state. If you want to learn more techniques like this and others, please consider joining me in our series that we're going to be launching, Mindfulness-Based Cognitive Therapy. And it's going to be a multi-week class that we offer where you would be in a group with peers, and everybody is going to learn some techniques together and talk about it and share. And it's really going to be an awesome, engaging experience. So if that's something that you're interested in, you can always give us a call or send us an email, and we'll give you some more information about that. In the meantime, I hope you have a great week.
If your anger or someone else's anger is causing an unsafe situation, please call 911. Information and resources on dealing with anger can be found online at apa.org in an article, Controlling Anger Before It Controls You. If your anger is causing difficulties in your life and you would like to speak with a counselor, New London Counseling Center is offering telehealth services to new and existing patients regardless of financial situation. To schedule an appointment, please call us at 484-746-3112. Thank you for watching and for the generous contributions of those who have made mental health care accessible in our community. Want to take a more in-depth look at how to unwind, recharge, and live life with less stress and more calm? Follow the link in the description to sign up for alerts on our upcoming mindfulness-based cognitive therapy class.